Okay, so today we're going to talk about a story that sounds like a twisted punchline to a dark joke, but it's all completely tragically true. This is the story of how a stupid argument over a plate of chicken wings actually ended a man's life. Yeah, let's get into it.
Come on, just think about it for a second. The pettiest argument you've ever been in. We've all been there, right? That flash of pure irritation over something that, looking back, was absolutely nothing. It feels like the biggest deal in the world for a minute, and then, poof, it's gone. Just try to remember that feeling.
Because for one man, in a totally normal pub on a totally normal night, that flash of anger didn't just fade away. It grew. And that seemingly meaningless argument had the most permanent consequence you can imagine.
To really get how this could even happen, we have to understand where it happened. And the answer is, well, somewhere completely ordinary. A place that's meant to feel safe, familiar, harmless. Just picture your classic pub. You know the vibe. You can almost smell the stale beer and fried food. You can hear the glasses clinking, the laughter. It's a place for community, for winding down, for a bit of harmless banter. You feel safe there. And that's part of the danger. Because sometimes familiarity makes us drop our guard. Huge disasters rarely just pop up out of nowhere. They build. They grow, step by step, from some tiny little spark into this raging fire you can't control. And this tragedy, it was no different. It all kicked off with something so small, you could have easily missed it. A group of guys who all knew each other just sharing some food. A hand goes for a chicken wing. A comment is made. Maybe it was a joke, maybe it was sarcastic, but it just landed wrong. You know that moment, that tiny little pause where the whole vibe in the air just changes? The argument that ended a man's life started over a plate of food that cost £5 and 49 pence. That's it. Less than a movie ticket, less than a couple of fancy coffees. Just let that sink in for a second. So how in the world do you get from a 5 quid plate of wings to a death? Well, it's kind of like a toxic recipe. You start with a base of just plain old irritation. Then you mix in a heavy dose of pride, that little voice in your head screaming, "Don't let them talk to you like that." Then you pour in some alcohol, which, as we know, just washes away your inhibitions. And then the secret ingredient, familiarity. The assumption that because you know these guys, nothing really bad can happen. And you can see just how fast it all went downhill. That one comment leads to raised voices, then someone stands up, you hear the scrape of chairs on the floor, and the whole room just tenses up. And in a split second, a punch is thrown. And that's it. The path is set. Every conflict has one, a moment where a line is crossed, and after that, nothing can ever be the same again. In this story, it was the second that argument got physical, and the crushing, sobering reality of that choice just crashed down on everyone in that room. And let's be really clear about who we're talking about here. This wasn't just some nameless guy in a news story. This was Paul Ainscough, 57 years old, a man who had a family, a past, a future, a whole life that did not deserve to end on a sticky pub floor. People who are there, they all talk about that sound, that dull, heavy thud. It's a sound that just cuts right through everything else. The music, the chatter, all of it. And in that one instant, the argument is over, the fight is over, and everyone knows something awful, something irreversible, has just happened. The event itself is shocking, but the story, man, it doesn't end when the ambulance shows up. For every single person involved, a whole new, harsh reality was just beginning, one filled with consequences that are gonna last a lifetime. And just like that, the world completely shifted. All the symbols of a normal night out were swapped for the symbols of the justice system. Pint glasses became handcuffs. Bartenders were replaced by judges. Bar stools, a courtroom. And what was once just some banter became a national headline. The headlines, of course, did what headlines do. They made it sound almost absurd. Man killed over chicken wings. People shared it, probably had a nervous laugh, shook their heads. But behind that weird, shocking phrase was the brutal reality of a family trying to figure out how to plan a funeral they never saw coming. So here's the thing you really have to understand. It was never, ever actually about the chicken wings. The wings were just the match. The fuel for that fire was something much, much deeper. Something we can all probably recognize in ourselves. And this right here, might be the most chilling lesson in this entire story. This wasn't some evil monster or a hardened criminal. This was a tragedy caused by a normal person losing control for one single moment.
And that is a terrifyingly human possibility.
And just think about it. Our world kind of trains us for this stuff, doesn't it? Social media literally rewards outrage. Comment sections are built on escalation. We are conditioned to fire back instantly, emotionally, without thinking. But the big difference is, in real life, there's no delete button. You can't just block the consequences.
Look, this story isn't just some bizarre news clip from across the pond. It's a warning. It's a mirror held up to our own anger, asking us, so, what are you going to do about it?
And let's be honest with ourselves for a second. Have you ever felt that little voice in your head, that feeling in your chest where you think, if this person pushes me one more time? I think most of us have. And feeling that doesn't make you a bad person. But recognizing it, being aware of it, that's what can save you.
This is the key takeaway. In a culture that's always telling us to stand our ground and never back down, sometimes the absolute strongest, smartest thing you can possibly do is to just turn around and walk away. It's not weakness, it's survival.
So I'll just leave you with this. The next time you feel that flash of anger boiling up, whether it's over a parking spot, a dumb comment online, or, even a plate of food, remember this story and just ask yourself one simple question. Is this really worth it?
If you enjoyed this, don't skip. Hit subscribe for more real, honest content that uplifts and empowers. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear the truth. Drop a comment below. We're building something better here. We're building lives.